See, the bad thing about this is, now that he won,
Mm-hmm.
we get to see a bunch of his annoying ego.
He's very interesting.
See, but the thing is, I'm not saying that Jake is a good person.
Right, because I don't think he is.
But what people don't realize
Mm-hmm.
is that a lot of the stuff, I'm not going to say all of it, but a lot of the stuff is for show and entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys see, I doubt you guys saw it, when he called out Conor McGregor?
Yeah,
Do you know who
I
that
did.
is?
Yeah, the
Really
fighter.
really big fighter.
Big dude.
Well known, well respected.
Mm-hmm.
He called him out. He's like, "You Irish cunt," blah blah. He's like
God,
making
yeah.
noise, and everyone was clowning him just because he knocked out an NBA star
Mm-hmm.
that he can call out one of the biggest fighters.
Mm-hmm.
See, but people were talking about him,
Right.
and
But
people don't understand that.
No, I think people do understand that. I think that honestly goes into the morality of like asking, like, sometimes like with our day and age and the way that social media is perceived, it's like, are you like, when you're entertaining and you're putting on a show and you're staging things, it's like, obviously it's not inherently bad, but like I feel like there's an argument of like, are you like a bad person for doing stuff like that? Like, are your are your intentions wrong? Are your morals like out of place? Which is like obviously up to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like, I think that for some people they don't really get it. But I think that sometimes like for some people that call him out, they're like, this dude is just like such an act, which is like, I don't know. Because did you ever watch the Shane Dawson not that Shane Dawson's a good person either, but he did like a whole documentary series on him, and he was trying to figure out if he was a sociopath.
Oh, I remember that.
It was really interesting. It was like a bit much, and it was so played up, and it was so dramatic. But I just thought the like science behind how people and how the internet and how clicks and likes and views like affect people was really interesting.
So do you think people know that he's doing? I don't think the majority of people do.
No, I don't think the majority of people do, because I think that the way that people like give him like the uproar that happens anytime he does anything, they're like, oh my god,
yeah, it's kind of like,
I'm like,
it's kind of like the stuff we say on TikTok, like the joke, like the influencer thing.
Yeah.
People thought you were serious,
exactly,
or just the certain like things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, I agree. I don't think the general population thinks
don't
about
get
it that way. I agree with that, but I think that when people like think more about it and start putting two and two together, it brings up that conversation of like, oh well, he's an act, and that's one thing, and like that's you know, you have your opinion on that, but also it's like, what does that mean really? What does it mean that he's sort of created this persona for social media, which is normal, like
he's really cringy and like annoying in most stuff, but on like on some platforms like podcasts, he's somewhat likable. Yeah, he's like 4 times.
Oh,
so like, yeah, I watched this episode last week, and he's just a dude.
Right.
He's just he was just a normal guy. He wasn't like trying to make a show. He was just talking, and he was like, he could be likable, but he puts on that act
or whatever it is. It might be him, it might be an act, it might be both, whatever it is, but it's really like,
but
it's interesting.
That's how he gets the talk though.
Right.
So you think he's just kind of putting on like this persona, that is often unlikable to a lot of people, just for like his to build a brand and
absolutely,
and to get talk. Like if you didn't call Conor McGregor an Irish cunt,
like,
then no one would have
cared.
talked about it.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, to what extent is it worth it? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
saying.
really
I feel like there has to be someone. Do you think someone has to do that in our world?
Like someone has to be the asshole.
Someone has to be, right?
I mean,
I would argue no, but I feel like
some people are just like that.
Some people are just like that. True, and also there's that expectation of, he came out on the scene with like Team 10, and he was like a dick to the twins, and like, you know, I don't know if you ever followed Team 10.
No.
And he like built himself up as like, oh, it's like Jake Paul, like big influencer, bad boy, like piece of shit, like da 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 da. And so like he gets famous off of that. So it makes sense that in this day and age and in the like persona that he created, that he would continue going on with it because it was getting him so much traction. So I feel like ultimately, like, you could argue the fact that no, someone doesn't have to be that type of person. People shouldn't have to be like that. But because of the influx of media that we have and the way that people perceive influencers, it creates this sort of like vacuum of like, well, if Jake Paul's not going to do it, like who's going to do it type of thing.